Did you not advocate LSD?
No, I never advocated drugs. I defended drugs, different drugs, against unscientific charges. But as soon as you start saying marijuana is not a killer drug, you become an advocate.
In the people's mind.
Yeah, as I look in this camera and realize that people are going to be watching this program, I think it's safe to say that maybe a third of the audience generally likes me. They think I'm a philosopher in prison for my ideas, and they don't want me in prison. But I think there's another third that really dislikes me intensely and thinks that I've led the young people astray. There's another third probably that couldn't care less. You're busy enough with your own lives that my debate with the United States government is no concern of yours. There's one thing that's true of almost everyone involved in these debates. They don't really know what I've been saying. I think that very few people who are watching this program have read my books. And we know how the media labels people, how they label Eagleton, how they label Muskie. It's the great sensation game. And it's very hard once they lay a label on you that way to fight back.
When was it that various local and government officials started putting pressure on you because of the views that were made known by the news media on drugs and so on?
Well, I don't know how many Americans know this, but I have the honor of being the person that started G. Gordon Liddy on his meteoric career. As much as anyone in this country, I put Gordon Liddy in the White House.
He was out after you, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was an assistant DA near Millbrook, New York, where I had a scientific center where we were studying consciousness. And Gordon was a very ambitious. Now, of course, there are millions of people kind of going along on his trip. But in those days, he was the first time that I was harassed by the law was on a Saturday night at midnight. I was in my bedroom with my wife, and I was talking to my son, and the door banged open, and in came G. Gordon Liddy with 24 armed and booted sheriffs.
Warrant? Do you have a warrant in hand?
Yeah, but the warrant was they found no marijuana. The warrant was thrown out. They did confiscate a little plant that we had on peat moss, which was a geranium. But Gordon Liddy then ran for Congress on the basis that he had driven me out of the county, and from there he went to White House as a drug expert. And how did Gordon Liddy get to be a drug expert? Because he had fought Timothy Leary. This has been well known. It's been testified to recently. And that was 1966. And since then, I've been in continual... I know exactly how that system works. When your phone's being bugged, being harassed, and so forth. They tried it out on me before they tried it out on Senator Muskie and Senator McGovern.
If I recall, you recently filed a suit to close Folsom.
Yes, with the help of some prisoners. There's a small group of prisoners here who are attempting to set up an educational program. It's called Probe. They're trying to get it authorized, and they helped me. This is a brief filed and written by called Jailhouse Lawyers. We want to close the prisons because they set up a condition of slavery, involuntary servitude. And the brief spells out how we can deal with the prisoner problem without caging men in a way that's very unconstitutional. And we hope to do it, of course, very legally and with the cooperation of the prison guards administration. There's something in this for everybody. One thing, I see the United States and the human situation like a nervous system. We're all in touch. I think the problem has been that we've gotten out of touch with each other. We've got to use technology to get into close communication, so that everything we're doing here now is legal. It's with the knowledge of the prison authorities. We want to bring them in. We want to raise their salaries. We want to give them compensation adequate to their problem, because they're facing the crucial problem of how to change men's minds and solve crimes. But we're not against anyone.
You've been arrested a number of times for possession of marijuana. Were any of those legitimate?
No, as a matter of fact, I've never been legitimately arrested. I'm in prison now because one evening I was in a parked car, and a policeman came up to the car and opened the door against my wishes, made a pass at the ashtray, and said, "You're under arrest for..." I said, "For what?" He said, "For marijuana." I said, "What marijuana?" He reached in his pocket. He pulled out 2 joints that I'd never seen before, half joints, and said, "You're under arrest." A year later, an Orange County, Orange County jury believed the policeman's story and found me guilty of possession of marijuana. Now then the judge, instead of giving me bail, as I was entitled to for appeal, held up a book that I had been writing and said, your ideas are dangerous, and we're not going to give you bail, and we'll put you in prison to keep you quiet. Now, I'm not complaining, because I think I should have been shut up then. I've been around the United States for 10 years talking and spreading my message, and I think it's good in a public life to a chance to lay back and to see what the opposition is going to do. As a matter of fact, when I was arrested, I was running for governor of California, and I published position papers on how to gradually eliminate taxes, how to eliminate crime, how to eliminate the drug abuse problem, and so forth. I thought I'd lay back for a couple of years and see how well the other side was going to do. But last January in Afghanistan, the American government agents, they're part of that same Liddy Narcotics Bureau group, stole my passport illegally, kidnapped me.
Valid passport?
It was a valid passport on the sovereign territory of Afghanistan, kidnapped me, put me in a plane, brought me back, and now I'm in Folsom prison, and I'm broadcasting again. Now, I didn't want to come back. I was happy over there. I was consulting with other governments on how they could avoid the crime and the drug problem we have here. But now that I'm back, I am going to be broadcasting.
You say that arrest was not a legitimate one. Let me rephrase that. Do you think the sentence was put on you extra tough because you are Tim Leary?
I don't think, first of all, I don't think that anyone should go to prison for the possession of marijuana. So it's unfair for everybody. I don't think there's any question, though, that if another middle-aged, middle-class person was found with two these in their pocket, they wouldn't be doing prison time. But I am Timothy Leary. I don't think it's so much my ideas, because there are a lot of people running around preaching new ideas. The reason I'm in prison is because my ideas were listened to by millions of people. They got a little too popular. That's my version of it.
Briefly, I know you took a number of pages in your newest book to explain how you broke out of prison, but briefly tell us how you did it. You had help?
I'd like to say telepathy, teleportation, magic. That was part of it. I went over a fence.
You had outside help?
I was helped after I got outside. Yeah.
Well, in your book you also had help. It was a long-range setup that helped you get out and so on. You were helped by the weatherman? One person who helped you break out was a young girl, codename of Kelly, and you say that she's the senator's daughter.
Yeah.
It was Senator Blank in the book. Is it to remain that way? Well-known senator?
Very well known.
Does the senator know?
Oh, sure.
Then you went on to Algiers. You lived over there with Eldridge Cleaver and his wife Kathleen. What do you think of Eldridge Cleaver as a man? His beliefs, his feelings? There was a big rift there after you had lived there for a while.
Yes, Eldridge Cleaver and I disagreed strongly on philosophy and on how to change the world. I believe that the revolution is a neurological revolution. It's a revolution of consciousness. I saw it more as a spiritual revolution. Eldridge, as you probably know, believed in a violent military revolution, and I felt that this was old-fashioned and would get easily wiped out and create bad vibrations where we wanted good vibrations.
Some people say that perhaps your use of LSD and other drugs, you might have destroyed some of your brain. Do you think that you've suffered any brain damage whatsoever?
Well, am I insane? Of course, that's a very tricky question for anyone to answer. I've lived through the 30s and the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, and I think anyone who's still erect after those years has had his sanity tested. I'm 52 years old, facing the problems of maturity and getting old. I've been through a lot of rough time the last few years. My career has been ruined, and they took my credit card away at Harvard, and I've been harassed by the United States government pretty heavily. I've been in 4 prisons, all without committing any crime that I know of. I've been in solitary confinement for 4 months. In addition to all of these pressures, I've probably pushed my nervous system as much as any human being living. I think I'm the strongest, sanest person around. Now, I'm not making any guarantees for the future, but you know, there's something very ominous about this tendency to call anybody that you don't agree with insane. 100 years ago, they'd say you were possessed by the devil or you were a heretic. 20 years ago, they'd say you were a communist. Now, the really sophisticated totalitarian method now is to say that someone that is a dissenter, that is against the society, is insane. In Russia now, very smooth. They take their philosophers and their dissenting poets, and they don't put them in Siberia anymore. They put them in an insane asylum. Now, maybe it is insane to be against what's happening in the United States today. Maybe it's insane to try to have hope that something can be done about it. So if that's insane, count me in, but otherwise, make up your own mind.
You're an optimist, a hope fiend.
I've been called an irrepressible optimist. Now, the opposite of an irrepressible optimist is a repressive pessimist, and I think that's what's running the country today.
What do you think of your future? Do you think you're going to walk out of Folsom Prison a free man one day?
I think my future is very interconnected with the future of this country. You just can't keep your philosophers in prison. If I am kept in prison, it's going to be a very bad symptom for freedom and for hope and for union.